Hey, it's Eric Metzroff, your next U.S. representative from Washington, D.C., here today at Farragut Square. We're here today to try and prove to you just how few people actually know who Franklin Garcia is. Franklin Garcia, for those of you that don't know, has been the United States representative for Washington, D.C. for the last 4 years. He's looking for another 2-year term, and he's already told everybody pre-election that he has no intention of fighting for DC statehood, the one mission of the job, over the next 2 years, because he says that while Republicans control Congress and the White House, that it's impossible for him to move the movement. So here's what we're gonna do. We're basically gonna sweep this entire park. I don't know how many people are in here, but I'm hoping there's somewhere around 100 of them that will actually talk to us. We're gonna see how many people know who he is and can define his position, and we're gonna do it all in one take. So here it goes. Sorry, I just got a text message that came across the screen, but now we're gonna go, and we're gonna first start by asking if people are DC voters, because we don't obviously expect people in Virginia or Maryland or anywhere else for that matter to know who Franklin Garcia is. But for DC voters, people that actually care about voting, we're hoping to prove that even though this man gets tens of thousands of votes every election, it's not because people like him or want him, it's just because he's basically the only option on the ballot. So here goes nothing. Let's see what happens. There you guys, DC voters. Can I put you on camera for one question about the vote that's coming up? Here we go.
You want to get the live response?
Yeah, we're doing a one shot of the entire square to see who knows who Franklin Garcia is in DC government.
Oh, I definitely don't know.
Definitely don't know?
I feel like I've heard that name, but I don't remember.
Okay. He's your current incumbent shadow representative, and he keeps getting reelected,
Yeah.
but like everybody else, nobody. Sorry,
They don't have voting again.
Yeah, they just see his name on the ballot, they check the box. We're trying to prove that thesis by seeing just how many people don't know who he is. So far, we're 2 for 2. Thanks, guys. Are you a DC voter? Can I ask you a question on camera about one person in the election? Wonderful. So, do you know who Franklin Garcia is? Okay. He's the current shadow representative from Washington, D.C. And we were trying to see just how many people in D.C. know who he is. That's cool. Thank you for your time. Are you guys DC voters by any chance? No? Yes? Sir, can I ask you one question on camera? To see if
That's what I'm saying. It shouldn't be hard.
Yeah, I probably don't. So.
Cool. Do you know who Franklin Garcia is?
Don't.
All right. He's a 2-term incumbent shadow representative from Washington, D.C. He's on the ballot again this year, running unopposed on the ballot, and we're just trying to prove that certain people get reelected not because of what they do or because even people know who they are, but just because they're there. So thank you for your time. Are you a DC voter? Oh, sorry. Do you vote in DC?
In Maryland, but I'm registered.
Okay, that's cool. Thank you.
For me, living on.
Hi, are either of you guys DC voters? Oh, sorry. Are you a DC voter? You plan on voting in November? Wonderful. Can I ask you one question on camera about one person on the ballot to see if you know who he is? I cannot ask you that question? Fair enough. Thank you.
He's a DC voter.
For real?
No, I'm kidding. I said you're a DC voter.
Thank you, though. Hi, are either of you DC voters by any chance? You are? Would you mind me asking you one question on camera to see if you know a particular person on the ballot? Okay, thank you. So have you ever heard the name Franklin Garcia?
No.
Okay. So he's your two-term incumbent shadow representative. He's running for re-election, and we're just trying to prove to folks on the internet, this is not live, but hopefully we can show people that this man keeps getting re-elected even though nobody knows who he is. So,
I haven't lived in DC long, so.
fair enough. Thanks for your honesty.
Thank you.
Have a good one. Hi, sir. Are you a DC voter by any chance?
I am not.
You're not? Okay. Thank you for your time.
No problem.
Hi, you voted DC?
No, not yet.
Okay, thank you. Sorry to bother you. You voted DC?
We do, yeah.
Do you plan on voting in November?
Yeah, I do.
Would you mind if I asked you one question on camera to see if you know a particular person on the ballot?
No thanks.
Okay, thank you.
What up?
How you doing?
Good.
Either of you DC voters?
No one's gonna be
Yes.
like, oh,
Maybe?
how did your mom become
Okay, so I'm going to talk more to you, but basically I have one question that I'm asking people on camera about someone on the ballot to see if they know who it is. I feel like we've talked
Oh, on
before.
camera?
Maybe in this exact spot like 6 months ago.
Wow.
But we're just trying to prove,
Flattered.
I know, crazy, right? We're just trying to prove that this two-term incumbent keeps getting reelected not because people know who he is, but because he's on the ballot. So here goes nothing. You ready?
am I being recorded?
Take a napkin
Yes. Sorry.
and
Alright,
keep me
so-
out of the shot,
yeah.
please.
Oh, sorry. I'll go from this angle.
I don't want to be on film. I'm sorry. I'm not
Okay.
a big
Well, can
fan.
I ask you while I'm facing the ground here? You can see it's facing the ground. Do you know who Franklin Garcia is?
No.
You do not. If I told you he was a 4-year member of the shadow delegation that's fighting for DC statehood, would you be shocked to find out that you don't know who one of your shadow or who your U.S. representative is? I should say.
I would not be shocked.
You would not be shocked. Fair enough. Good answer.
All right.
Appreciate the honesty.
Yeah,
Thank you.
sure.
I'm going to hand you a card. Not surprisingly, I'm running against him
Oh, wow.
because he's already told people I'm running as a write-in. And the reason why I'm doing it
Good for
is
you, man.
he's on record. I wasn't trying to get this part into the video because I'm trying to one-shot it.
Okay.
But
Sorry.
no problem. This is awesome that you asked. He's on record saying that because of who's in Congress and who's in the White House and how the vote will go, that he basically won't be able to do anything in the next 2 years. Well, guess what? It's a 2-year term. So he's
Why have him
asking
in
for
there?
your vote to do nothing.
Why even have them in there then?
Exactly. So check
Yeah.
out that website on the bottom left. If you like what you see, maybe tell a few friends on social media that there's like a regular DC citizen that's running because he wants to do the job, not because he wants some position in power. This is an unpaid position, by the way.
Can I give you a tip?
Sure.
You should give out your cards. It's like.
Well,
in the middle of
normally I do, but I'm trying to keep this video
Oh.
clean.
Oh, I see.
That's why I have to ask for permission because I don't want to have to like have people tell me to turn it off. But this is good. People will see that this is authentic by us having this conversation.
Yeah. Good luck, man.
Yes, and they'll think you look something like this, probably. Have a good one. All right, take care. Hi, are either of you DC voters? No? All right, thank you. All right. Sir, would you happen to be a DC voter? No. Okay, thank you. Sir, are you a DC voter by any chance? No. All right, thank you. Either of you voted DC by any chance? Sorry, man. Thank you. Ma'am, are you a DC voter? Sorry to alarm you.
I'm actually in Maryland.
All right, have a good one. Thank you. Hi, sorry to bother you. Would you happen to vote in DC by any chance?
No,
No.
not legally.
Good one. I like the cut of your joke. Thanks. Hi, do either of you vote in Washington, D.C.? Okay, thank you. Did either of you guys vote in DC by any chance? Yes and yes? Awesome. Can I ask the both of you one question on camera? That's a no for you. We're trying to see if people know if a particular person on the ballot even exists. It's a two-term incumbent that keeps getting reelected, and we're trying to prove the theory that nobody actually knows who it is. You do not. You just have to say whether or not, honestly, if you have ever heard of this person, and if you have, can you name what they do? It's one of the 7 citywide elections. All right, thank you. So, do you know who Franklin Garcia is?
Yes.
What is his job?
Elected to the House of Representatives for DC.
Very good. And what can you tell me about his record or anything you know about him? All right. If I told you, sorry, I told you it was one question, but
Yeah,
you were
you're
the
asking
only
multiple.
person in Farragut Square that actually knew who he was so far. If I told you that he is asking for another term in office, even though he's on record multiple times saying that he won't be able to accomplish anything for DC statehood in the next 2 years, which is the only point of the job, it's written into the job as the only mission. Do you think how would you characterize somebody that says that they want your vote even though they're not going to do the thing that they're running for?
I think it depends on the actual role, right?
So if it's a one-job job, and I don't mean to cut you off, if it's a one-job job and they say they're not going to do...
I think that's opinion-based, right?
No,
There are
it's
more
in
things
writing.
that the rep does.
That's one of the misconceptions, and I'm sorry I'm doing this to you. But this job, if you look at the DC Board of Elections website, is only about lobbying for DC statehood. Eleanor Holmes Norton, who is the delegate to the House,
Right,
acts like a regular congressperson.
right.
This shadow representative position does not have constituent services. It does not do anything else in the community as defined by the DC Board of Elections. It is purely an effort to get us the same rights or equivalent rights as the states. So if he's telling you he hasn't done anything in 4 years and he's asking for another 2 to not do anything, what does that make you think about?
I think
Would you like to learn more so I get you off the hot spot here?
I'd like to know who you are and
Sure.
who you are representing.
Perfect. So I'm going to hand you this card and stop. Take the hot lamp off of your head. If you look in the lower left-hand corner, that's
you
my
running?
website. I am. I'm running as a write-in, and the reason why I'm doing it is because he truly is quoted. I could show you the quotes right now.
Sure.
I'm trying to run a one take, so I'll circle back at the end. But I'll take the camera off you. He's quoted saying that he's not going to really be able to do anything until 2021, both on video and in writing.
Okay.
So there's in 2 different settings that I've found so far. To me, as a regular person that's lived here for 20 years, if you have a track record of not doing the one point of the job, 4 years of it, and then you're telling people pre-election, I'm not going to do the job because I want to have the perfect makeup of Congress and the White House. And it's an unpaid job, so I'm not running for this because I want to supplement my income. I want to do it because I look at the license plates for the last 20 years, well, almost the last 20 years, because they weren't like that when we first got here. And I think it's super weird that nothing ever happened. So, anyway, sorry.
Quickly put you on the
Yeah,
hot seat. What
sure.
are the first couple of things?
So if you go to my website, you'll see that there are 10 different ideas. I mean, I've thought about this for the last year. There are so many ways that we can move the ball down the field. As you know, nothing has changed as far as this goes. We're still taxed without representation. Perfect. So we're on the same page. So there's everything from my ideal, which would be that we're the shining beacon of democracy, where we have 2 senators, one is a Democrat, one is a Republican, and then our rep has to be either third party or independent, so that we truly are reflective of what the founders hopefully wanted this country to be. That's probably the hardest one to attain, because you're basically asking both sides to submit to this faceless independent movement. I'm an independent myself, and who knows now, as we all know in DC, most independents are not really independent. So it's interesting how that one would work. But the simplest one to me, because there's actually Republican support for it, and there should be Democratic support for it as well, is every other territory is not taxed federally unless you are a federal employee, right? Why are we the only non-state from basically Guam to Puerto Rico that, or the Virgin Islands, I can forget which one's further east. Did I?
Why are we the only state in
Well, sorry. Yes. Why are we the only possession of the United States government?
I know.
Yeah. Thank you for that catch, because this is still recorded. But you know, why are we the only ones? I mean, it seems only fair and equitable that if people don't want us to be a state, and you know, some of their arguments are valid when it comes to that.
Right.
Then if they don't want to go that direction, then give us basically something that makes us whole for not wanting to go all the way.
Yeah.
And the real reason that nothing happens in this town on this issue is every time everyone involved gets in the exact same boat, they refuse to look at any other offers. So you can look at that website, you'll see there's many ways we can go with this.
Cool. I'll check it out.
Thank you for your time.
Good luck.
Take care. And if you do like what you see on the website, maybe just tell a few friends on social media. Thank you. Are you a DC voter? Thank you. That lady was on the phone. Are you a DC voter? Oh, okay. Thank you. How's the food compare?
About the same.
About the same. Nice. Hey, are you guys DC voters by any chance? No? Okay. Thank you. You vote in DC?
No, I have absentee ballot for back home though.
All right. Very good. Thank you. All right. So we're about halfway through this park. We're about 17 minutes into this video. Let's try and wrap it up under 30, shall we? Here goes. Hi guys, sorry to interrupt. Do any of you vote in DC? Does anyone vote in DC? No, no, and no. Thank you. Hi, is anyone here a DC voter? No, no. And he's in music mode. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Hi guys. Sorry to interrupt. Are either of you DC voters?
No, I don't live here.
Okay. Thank you. Are you a DC voter? No. You ladies vote in DC by any chance?
Huh?
You vote in DC?
Oh no, we are visited. We're not from here. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Sir, do you vote in DC?
Sorry.
Do you vote in Washington, DC?
Not eligible for
All right, thank you, sir. Yeah. Can I ask you guys a question? Do you vote in DC? You do? Can I ask you one question on camera to see if you know a particular person on the ballot? Can I ask it if I'm pointing down? I'm just trying to have a nice time. Okay, fair enough.
They were like shocked. Yeah. Afterwards, they're like, why are you so shocked? There were like 4 of us.
You guys vote in DC by any chance?
No, but I am registered.
Awesome, thank you.
He's on my team.
Are you guys DC voters?
I am not talked
thank
to,
you.
anybody else about it. So,
What's going on, team?
how's it going?
Good, thanks. Are you guys DC voters by any chance?
Yes.
Yes, and yes. Can I ask the two of you, if we're doing a one-shot video of everyone in Farragut Square, trying to see if they know a particular person on the ballot that has been in office for 4 years? Is there any chance you would do that on video?
Probably not.
Probably not. If I just face it at your shoe, like that, could I ask you the question? What if I just face it over there? See, you're not on it. It's facing the garbage can.
I don't know.
It's literally just, do you know if this person...
I'll do it if it's like that.
Okay, so it's facing a garbage can. Anyway, so you are DC voters, and my question is, do you know who Franklin Garcia is? No for him, no for her. If I told you that Franklin Garcia has been the U.S. representative from Washington, D.C. for the last 4 years, would you be surprised, shocked, or some other adjective when it comes to not knowing that?
Reasonably surprised.
Reason? Okay. How long have you lived here, sir?
Fairly surprised.
3 years.
All right.
3.5 years.
And yourself?
3.5
Okay.
years, yeah.
So you've been here almost his whole term, and fair enough. I'm going to give you some cards and keep moving, but take a look at the bottom left there. If you like what you see on that website, maybe tell some friends that there's someone writing to dethrone him, a man who seemingly most people in DC don't even know who they are. They just vote for him because he's on the ballot.
Cool.
Okay.
Thanks, guys. Are you a DC voter? You good? All right. You guys DC voters? Yes. Cool. Can I ask you a question on camera about your ballot? Cool. All right. So it's one question. I just want you to let me know if you know what job Franklin Garcia does.
Treasurer?
It's a good guess. Most people don't even make a guess. He's actually the 4-year U.S. representative from Washington, D.C., and he's running again in this election unopposed. And we're just trying to see if people even know who they're voting for. Or if
But I did thought he was the treasurer because it was a treasurer named with a G. And I'm not to get who is the treasurer now?
I'm trying to think who would be a G person. Carl Racine is the Attorney General. Maybe that's the G. I don't know.
G or C, I know. I'm thinking, I was thinking treasurer. I'm not gonna change my thought.
That's cool. Just so you know, literally only one person so far has known who this man is. So don't feel bad about it. I'm going to give you a card just in case you want to change your mind on voting.
I will.
There's a website on the bottom left to learn more.
Okay.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
She's on the phone. All right, we're almost done with the park. I'm probably not going to walk around the statue just for sake of time, keeping this under 30 minutes. Much like most sitcoms these days, this probably won't be the most exciting 30 minutes of your life, but there might be some good nuggets in there. So here we go, continuing on. Sir, are you a DC voter by any chance? Fair enough. Thank you. Can I ask you a quick question? You vote in DC?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'll keep rolling. Thank you. There's a sleeping baby there. Hi, do you vote in DC? All right, thank you. Kitchen attack. Person on the phone.
Not hard.
Hi, guys. Can I ask you a quick question? Do you vote in DC?
I vote.
You both do? Would there be any chance that I could ask you one question about your ballot on camera to see if you're good?
I'm a Democrat. I'm good.
Fair enough. And you, sir?
I'm an independent.
All right. So am I.
Where are you from?
DC. I live in Ward 3.
No, I mean, what is it? TV or what?
I'll give you my card in advance.
No, it's okay. But
Oh.
what outlet are you from?
I'm not from a media outlet.
Oh.
Actually, I'm not going to give you the card because it might give him a hint as to the answer to the question, but then I will give you one after.
That's fine. That's fine.
All right, so you ready, sir? I'll let you.
Yeah.
Okay. So, can you tell me who Franklin Garcia is?
Franklin Garcia?
Yeah.
No, I don't.
He's been in DC government for the last 4 years. He's running for another 2. Have you ever seen that name on your ballot or think you've seen it?
I've seen it before, yes.
Okay. So he's the U.S. representative, sometimes called the shadow representative from D.C. I'll take the camera off you now. And I know sounds like a staunch Democrat, but
I am.
and I'm all for, trusting your party to put the best people up. But when somebody tells you pre-election that he won't be able to do anything in the next 2 years and it's a 2-year job, maybe it's time to think about an independent like my friend here hopefully will.
Well, I see you took him.
Yeah.
I'll look him up. I don't know if he's an independent. I'll look him up.
No, he's a Democrat. I'm an independent. I'm running as a write-in for his seat. It's
Got it, got it.
unopposed.
Thank you.
No problem. So if you look at the bottom left of that website, you'll see kind of his record versus what I can actually do for ending taxation without representation in
You
DC.
independent, right?
100%
What
independent.
were you before independent?
In my life or most recently?
Are you a Trump?
I am not.
Like they're or cat or whatever. the
Sure.
hell you
So I'm going to go in order.
Yeah.
I was a member of the DC Statehood Green Party until 2016. But when I started to think about kind of like how I could affect my community that I've lived in the last 20 years, as somebody that was going to run for elected office, I did not want to take on other people's platforms as part of mine. This particular job, just FYI, you'll see on the website, but it only has one function, that's to end taxation without representation, get DC statehood. It is not a constituent services thing. It is not a public education thing. So for it to have existed almost 30 years and we haven't even moved like this much, is super annoying to me as like somebody that just likes to see efficiency in government, even the minimal amount. So to answer your question, I did not vote for either of the two people that were considered the favorites in 2016. But that being said, as an independent, I think you actually need to talk to both sides if we're ever going to get this done. The problem with the statehood movement in DC is they'll talk to every Democrat possible, but they're waiting until they get a critical mass of all of Democrats before they even talk to Republicans. I think that's super, at best, it's just short-sighted. At worst, it's a way to keep it perpetuating so that they have something to platform.
What is the name?
Eric Metzroth. Pleasure. Nice to meet you.
Good luck, Eric.
Thank you. And the only way I can win is if you look at that and you don't hate me, just tell a few friends.
One more thing.
Sure. No problem.
This is not a local issue, but
Yeah.
just curious what your thoughts are on the Kavanaugh thing.
Which part?
The FBI, the fact that he's on the Supreme Court.
So my wife is a Democrat. I'll put that out there right now. So I definitely have had to kind of bounce it off her. And I'm really trying in this race not to take a stance on anything other than statehood because every person I offend will make it that much harder. But in short, regardless of anything else, as someone who was in a fraternity in college, I felt that Kavanaugh lied about his drinking habits under oath and his knowledge of what certain things were termed. And so just for that reason, from personal experience, because it's a he said, she said in a sense.
Yeah.
But from personal experience as someone who drank in college,
Well,
that right there was enough for me to be like, no, you just got to find somebody else.
I was out, just so you know, I was out with a guy last night who was with him alone when Kavanaugh was not yet married in Brussels at a nightclub.
Okay.
Just the two of them when Kavanaugh was at Kirkland and Ellis, about when he was 37, and he got completely blotto and passed out under a tree. Kavanaugh.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
Not the other guy.
I hear you.
I thought that was interesting because no one has been told that when he was 37, that he was.
Your friend was,
My friend was with
there,
him. Was with him.
but your friend didn't want to get involved.
Well, he called the post, but
Oh,
the post
really?
did not complete. He called the post.
Gotcha.
He didn't call the FBI, but the FBI wouldn't have done it.
Yeah. That's good though.
You American citizen? U.S. citizen?
Sure.
Okay, you can't offend.
That's what I like to hear. And I appreciate everyone's viewpoint and how we get this civil, which is what we need to do. Anyway, thanks for your time. Are you a DC voter? Sorry, do you vote in DC? No. All right, thank you. Are either of you DC voters?
I vote in Maryland.
All right, thank you. All right, I think we're on the last spoke of this hub here. Are you DC voters? No? Yes? No? All right. Hey, I'm sorry to bother you. Do you vote in DC? No, thank you. Hi guys, sorry to interrupt. Do either of you vote in DC?
No.
No, thank you.
The layout was sort of similar to like my dad's house. We have a dining room, but the kitchen was small, and then the dining room was pretty small, and so they knocked out the wall to make space. So they have like really large dining room.
They did that before they moved there, though?
Hey, speaking of knocking down walls, do you guys vote in DC?
Yeah.
You do not. Could I ask you one question about the ballot? Not whether you support someone, just if you know if they're on the ballot.
Uh-huh.
All right. Can I do it on camera?
Sure.
Awesome.
Who are you with?
I will tell you that at the end because it might influence your answer.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of Franklin Garcia?
No.
How long have you been a DC resident?
10 years.
Okay. If I told you that he is the two-term incumbent U.S. representative from DC, would you be surprised that you didn't know that?
Yes.
Awesome. This is my last question on camera. If I told you that he's on record multiple times in this election cycle this summer, saying that in the next 2 years he will not really be able to move DC statehood's end taxation without representation movement, and even though it's a 2-year term, he still wants your vote. I hope I said that clearly. I've been saying it a lot today. But basically, he wants your vote for the next 2 years, even though he's not going to do anything till 2021. How do you feel about
on
that?
Statehood or on anything?
So that is literally the only mission of his job. Eleanor Holmes Norton is our delegate to the House. She does the things that a regular congressperson does. This U.S. representative, shadow representative position, depending on where you are, they call it different things, only has one mission. It's to lobby on statehood. And he's telling you pre-election that he's not going to do it for the next 2 years because of who's in the House and who's in the White House.
Uh-huh.
And sorry, who's in Congress and who's in the White House.
Right.
What does that make you think?
Makes me think I have to do more research on him and on whoever's running against him.
Perfect. So he's running unopposed, but there is a rather dashing opponent that might be standing in front of me. Oh, sorry, you don't.
So
Yes, I'm bad. But anyway, I'm doing a one take of everyone in Farragut Square, trying to see how many people even know who this man is, even though he gets tens of thousands and in some cases over 100,000 votes in every cycle. Part of it's because he runs unopposed, but part of it's because people just see that there's a D next to his name and they assume, cool, this guy's part of the team.
Right.
Well, he's the worst member of the team in terms of getting things done. And when I heard that he literally doesn't want to do the job the next 2 years, but he still wants you to vote for him, I felt compelled to run as a write-in. So
Okay,
check it
gotcha.
out. The only way I'll win is if you tell some friends.
Cool.
Appreciate it. Thanks for your time. Sir, congrats on the Brewers, by the way. Do you vote in DC?
En dos.
Can I ask you one question on camera? Did you hear any of that over there?
No, I didn't.
Cool. Can I ask you one question on camera if you know somebody that's on the ballot?
Yes, it is.
That's okay? Sorry. On camera, can I ask you about one specific person?
Sure.
Awesome. Have you ever heard of Franklin Garcia?
No, I have not.
Okay. How long have you lived in the district?
Since 2006.
Okay. So I'll take you off camera for this part, but basically he's the two-term incumbent U.S. representative from D.C. and he's running again in this cycle, and he wants your vote, even though he's told people multiple times that he has no intention of doing anything to advance statehood in the next 2 years, which is the only point of the job. Do you think that's weird? Very. Okay. So I'm running as a write-in. I'm going to give you this card. Look at that website in the bottom left. If you like what you see, maybe tell some friends that there's somebody else who might not be on the ballot, but who actually wants to do the job.
Okay. Yep, definitely.
Cool. Thank you. Appreciate it. Nice meeting you. Sorry, I'm trying to one shot this whole video. So, thanks, man. Sir, do you vote in DC? All right, thank you. Got about 4 people left.
Because I was like,
Sorry to interrupt. I see the suitcase, but do either of you vote in DC? No? Okay, thank you. Sir, are you a DC voter by any chance? Yes. Do you plan on voting in November? Can I ask you one question on camera about your ballot?
Yeah.
Yeah? Cool. So, have you ever heard of Franklin Garcia?
Yeah, I know Frank Garcia.
You do. Do you know what job he does?
No.
Okay. How do you know him? Like just by name, or could you picture what he looks like? Or
Only the name. Maybe this is,
okay, that's cool. If I told you he's been in office for 4 years,
Yeah.
and he only has had one job to do in those 4 years, I can take you off camera for this, but sorry, let me start over. If I told you that he's been in office for 4 years, he's only had one job to do in those 4 years, he hasn't done it, but he wants you to vote for him again, and he's actually telling you today or this summer that he's not going to do the job again for 2 years. Do you think it's weird that people in DC vote for that guy?
Sure.
Appreciate your honesty. I'm going to give you a card. I'll take you off camera. I'm running against him. There's my website. If you take a peek, if you like my ideas, the only way I'll beat a Democrat in DC is if people tell people. Okay, thank you. Thank you, sir. Hi, do you vote in DC? Did I ask you this already? Okay, thank you, sir. All right, so there you have it. That's basically everybody that was sitting on a bench in this park, and maybe a couple other folks. I don't think you need to watch much more. You know what? Just for fun, to keep my word, and since it's going to be more of a speed round type thing, I'm going to walk around this Farragut statue and see if anyone raises their hand for Franklin Garcia. Here goes nothing.
I pull him and just like grabbing you. I pull him, I punch him in the stomach.
Hey, quick show of hands. Does anyone know who Franklin Garcia is? Just raise your hand if you do. Franklin Garcia. No? All right, thank you. Guys, you can ignore this one since we've already talked, but has anyone on this side ever heard of Franklin Garcia? Know that name? Thank you.
Jerry Garcia.
I actually met him in a 7-Eleven once.
Very nice.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
She's also here for so you want to do lunch?
Sorry, real quick. Do you guys vote in DC?
No, I don't actually. Sorry.
All right, thank you. I won't waste your time then. Thank you. All right, here's the last side. Does anyone right around here know who Franklin Garcia is? That is all no's. Appreciate it. Thank you.
I guess I'm going in. What's going on in here?
Look, Amazon, look what she
Before you guys go in, you vote in DC?
No, Virginia.
Ah, okay. Thank you. Good luck. All right. Let's cut this off here at 38 minutes or so. I don't know how I'm going to quite post this, but I guess I will on my website. Hopefully it allows a 39-minute video. Anyway, I hope this has been eye-opening for you. If I remember correctly, only one person in Farragut Square had heard the name Franklin Garcia. That person also happened to know what his job was, which was impressive, but did not know anything about what he has done in office. So 0 people in Farragut Square know what Franklin Garcia is doing, the person that's fighting for your rights. Maybe it's time to find somebody new. I'm just saying. Thanks, and have a good one.